What race or culture is your child?
Half African American.
Was it a different process of adopting a child who has a different culture than you?
No.
Did it take longer to adopt your child of a different culture than it usually does?
No.
Did you get to pick who you were adopting?
That's a trick question because you have a criteria and then the birth parents pick you.
Do people look at you different for having a child of a different culture?
Some people, yes.
Will you teach your child about their culture?
Yes.
Did you have a lot of people who support your decision?
A lot, yes.
Do you think it is different raising a child of a different race rather than raising a child of the same race?
No.
Do you take time to understand where your child came from and what their culture is about?
Yes.
If you were to adopt another child, would you adopt a child of the same or different race?
It wouldn't matter.
What race or culture is your child?
My son is African American and Caucasian.
Was it a different process of adopting a child who has a different culture than you?
I believe it is. However, in my case, it wasn't. We were foster parents, and so the child was placed with us, and then ended up staying for years and years, and then we got the opportunity to adopt. So in our case, it wasn't. I believe in other cases, just adopting a child, it would be.
Did it take longer to adopt your child of a different culture than it usually does?
I believe it does. There's a lot that goes into your home study when they talk to you about what your feelings are about children of different races and cultures, and they have to feel that you're really open for all this. But in our case, like I said, he was in our already in our home, and so I don't believe it took any longer.
Do people look at you different for having a child of a different culture?
I think in a lot of cases some people do, but that's just maybe because they're short-sighted. My family and friends are very open. They know Hunter and they love Hunter for who he is, and so it hasn't been a problem.
Will you teach your child about his culture?
Oh, absolutely, and I want Hunter to have black friends and white friends, and so I think that's very important.
Do you think it's different raising a child of a different culture rather than raising a child as the same?
I think maybe it is, but I think that society today has become more tolerant and more politically correct about things like this. So I guess maybe I would say in today's age, fortunately, I don't think it's a lot different.
Do you take time to understand where your child came from and what their culture is about?
Yes, and I think that's important, and we'll talk about that a lot more as he gets older. He's only 5 now.
If you were to adopt another child, would you adopt a child with the same or different race?
You know what? It wouldn't make a difference to me, but it probably would be nice to have a child that was biracial as well. So Hunter felt, more comfortable in part someone else to relate to. So it wouldn't make any difference